The Jim Nantz Collegiate Sportscaster of the Year award was Jon Chelesnik's idea. The CEO of Sportscasters Talent Agency of America, Chelesnik reached out to Nantz's agent, who gave permission to use Nantz's name for a one-year tryout.
And I thought, that'd be kind of cool to know who the top collegiate sportscasters are, and especially as they rise through the ranks from underclassmen to seniors. And that's really where the idea was born. And quickly I saw that would also serve as a great way to motivate these young sports broadcasters to try to be better and to see what's out there. I started getting the comments almost immediately, Dave, where people would say, wow, I thought I was good until I saw other people my age. Right. And that has motivated, I know through stories that people have told me, countless broadcasters to realize how much more room for growth there is and to pursue that growth.
I was incredibly honored that someone would want to name something after me, and I could relate so much to what the award was going to represent, because when I was in college, I was a study in exactly what I see out of all of these kids today. I'm absolutely obsessed and driven with the idea of trying to make it in broadcasting, so sports broadcasting. Well, we didn't have any kind of award like that back in the day, and I was really touched.
And in 2009, the Jim Nantz Award debuted, with Marshall University's Adam Cavalier as the first winner. Eastern Illinois' John Twork won the second Nantz Award. That same year, NSMA board member Wes Durham had an idea.
I respected the fact that Jon Chelesnik and STAA was doing something to recognize young guys, young people in this business. And I thought it was one of the things that could bridge what I thought was a younger demographic of potential members and people interested in being in this business with people that were already established in the business. And I was delighted that Jon felt the same way, because he had obviously had the idea for it. It means a lot too that Jim continues to support it the way he does every year as well. So I felt it was kind of an interesting fit, a natural fit in many ways, because I was fortunate as a young kid to come to the NSSA awards back in the day with my dad, and felt like, if we could get more younger people there, we may have a chance to grow this organization exponentially in the next decade.
The next spring, Northeastern University's Alex Faust won the award.
From Northeastern University,
but he wasn't
Alex
supposed
Faust.
to find out until he made the trip to the awards banquet to receive his trophy.
Well, the funny story with that was when Jon called me, at the time, I think they wanted it to be a surprise for when you arrived in North Carolina. Right. So he called me and said, hey, you're one of the finalists for this award. We'd love you to come to this banquet. And I remember at the time I had plans to go see family, and it was right kind of the next day after the award ceremony would be. So I'm like, well, I kind of have this, thing planned here. I don't know if I can make it. He was like, you know what? I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. You're the winner. So that spoiled the surprise a little bit. But even so, the whole weekend was just incredible in Salisbury. I mean, such a historic venue, and getting to meet all these amazing people and folks who are now peers in a way. I'm caught up in so many great memories from that first time down there, just shaking hands with I don't know how many people who I had watched on TV for years, and thinking, man, if I could be as good as that'd be pretty cool.
Syracuse's Bill Spaulding won the 2012 Nantz Award.
I'm obviously really excited to go down and meet as many people as possible. So I knew going in that there'd be a lot of, people I'd grown up watching and grown up looking up to that would be there. And, I wanted to meet as many of them as possible. Obviously, there were some slight butterflies, and that you're going to be meeting that many people and making a speech on the award stage that night that I think was a precursor to Bob Costas giving a speech that night. So not like he was an easy act to lead off for, but I would say I didn't know all that much actually what would be going on outside of the seminars and the things that were on the schedule, but it was a blast. And if I had preconceived notions, I'm not sure that they would have matched with how it actually played out.
In 2013, Emerson's Ross Lippman was the winner.
So I remember thinking, this might be a really good opportunity for me to get to know some people that might end up helping me get a foot in the door in terms of my first job. I don't think it really even occurred to me that I was going to meet some of my sports broadcasting idols in the process. That was sort of a secondary thought.
Syracuse's Kevin Fitzgerald won the Nantz in 2014.
Being there will help your career. It can enhance what you're doing or where you potentially will be going.
Right.
You never know who you can run into, who you'll meet. Forget about that example of, well, I got a job out of this. You never know who you can meet, who could then open up a door for you 3 years later, 10 years later.
Right.
It's so worth it from that standpoint, where it can certainly help your career, but then also just the wholesome nature of it. You won't have it's not like you're going to go there and have a bad time. I mean, it's an amazing place. You'll have an amazing time, whether or not some great connection or job comes out of it. But typically that does happen.
The 2015 winner was another Syracuse alum, Eric Gallanty.
It did happen pretty early on when John went up there. And so, but yeah, I mean, it was definitely nervous. And then you try your best not to think about the people who are in the room specifically that are there. But I remember that right after I was done, Sean McDonough came up to me and was like, "Really nice job," and that sort of put me at ease to make sure I had done okay. So that was a nice thing that I remember.
South Florida's Josh Appel won the Nantz in 2016.
I'd obviously talk to the previous winners who, would say, you're going to have an amazing time at Salisbury. You're going to meet so many amazing people. And I thought, oh, that's just what they got to say. And then I got there and I'm like, wow, what an amazing time. I got to meet so many incredible people.
In 2017, the NSMA moved to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and Missouri's Nate Gatter became the first Nantz winner to pick up his award there.
That was my college graduation for me and for my parents, which we sort of thought of it that way at the time. Mm-hmm. And that was a really cool capstone. But then beyond that, to get to interact with a lot of people in the industry and to realize, first of all, how easy it was to form friendships with those people, whether they were high profile, national, or big market kind of people working at the top level, or whether they were D2, D3 college voices or high school guys working in smaller markets, whatever. Right. That we could form great relationships based on our passion for the industry.
Katie Emmer became the first woman to win the award as a St. Cloud State senior in 2018.
And I just really enjoyed meeting other people at those sessions and learning from other speakers. It was so informative and just learned a lot. But leading up to the banquet, I enjoyed that whole night. I got to meet Kevin Harlan and Olivia Harlan-Decker, his daughter, and just like seeing all these people in person that, a girl like me in college would always look up to. I mean, and I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but even stepping up on the stage and accepting this Jim Nantz Award and looking at it's just reality set in that moment. And I was like, oh my gosh, what was I going to say? But you're just kind of overcome with just how many great people show up to this event. And that night was one I won't ever forget.
Please welcome Drew Carter.
And in 2019, Syracuse's Newhouse School of Public Communications sent us another Nantz winner, Drew Carter.
Imagine walking up to the table, you now have a bargaining chip, which normally you wouldn't have. So, yeah. I mean, it kind of gave me that jump start that I sort of needed heading into the industry. And my first job, which I'm still doing here in Birmingham, they found me via my Nantz reel. That was the first they had ever seen me. Mm-hmm. And then they reached out to me and asked me if I could do more of the reporting anchoring side. And I said, yes, I'd love to. And so we kind of got the ball rolling there. And next thing I knew, I had my first job.
And each year, the award's namesake records a congratulatory message that's played at the awards ceremony.
Lastly, to Alex Faust, congratulations on winning this. A special nod to Bill Spaulding on winning the award here tonight. I also want to just give a little shout out here, if I could, to Ross Lippman from Emerson. I had a chance to talk to Nate recently. He's a great young man. He's going to be a huge credit to our industry. I just want to give a quick shout out to Katie Emmer, a shout out to Drew Carter.
It's really gratifying to see, now we're well more than a decade into it, to see how the thing has grown. It has been beautifully handled by John. And Wes Durham and everybody on the board that's had a hand in voting on this. It's meaningful to them. They take it seriously. And I know the kids, like, it's a big deal to them. And, it's getting bigger and I'm getting older. So what I realize as you get older, this is going to be one of those lasting kind of tributes to your career that you never asked for. I never asked to be honored in any capacity. But the short of it is I get more and more heartfelt gratitude for having my name associated with it as time marches on. I mean, it's going to be, when it's all said and done, one of the greatest honors of my career. It already is, but it's going to outlast my career. And I just hope it's helping others launch theirs to chase their dreams.
11 years strong for the Jim Nantz Award, 9 presented at the NSMA Awards, hoping to see numbers 10 and 11 in Winston-Salem in 2021. In the meantime, you can find the complete interviews with the Nantz Award winners, as well as the interview with Jon Chelesnik on nationalsportsmedia.org or on the National Sports Media Association YouTube channel.